The compact SUV space in India is super duper hot. Although Mahindra had the Mahindra XUV 300 as one of their contenders in this very lucrative space, but the car felt outdated, especially when you realize that the competition was bringing up with loads and loads of features to stay relevant. And that's when Mahindra decided to offer this brand new offering with a new name called as the XUV 3XO. How good is it and what are the shortcomings? Hello and welcome back to Shutterdrives. We are here in this beautiful background, the lake in Nashik. So when we posted the reel yesterday on Instagram, there was some polarizing opinions where people felt that the front design isn't exactly very pleasing to the eyes, and I think honestly that's a bit true because we feel that the symmetry between the front design and the rear design is missing in this particular car. However, designs are subjective and that is purely my opinion. You have LED projector headlamps, you have a front camera here, you also get 360-degree camera in this car, which is going to be very helpful. But the deal breaker here is going to be the fact that this car is also equipped with ADAS level 2. You can find this black glossy finish for the grille here. Overall the design, like I said, it's fine with a nice kit plate which looks very sporty, and this is the red color which in my humble opinion looks the best among all the color options in this particular car. The biggest factor here is this car gets the longest wheelbase in its class, and Mahindra also claims that the cabin width is the biggest in its class. Mahindra is also very particular that there are a lot of first and segment features in this particular car. That said, you have a request inside here, just keep the key in the pocket and just open the door and drive away. You get 17-inch alloys which are completely redesigned. They're actually very nice and pleasing to the eyes, and the biggest factor is Mahindra and safety go hand in hand, and you get all 4 disc brakes for this particular variant of the car. Moving to the rear, you get connected LED tail lamp, which is again the new trend in town. You have rear wiper here, normal antenna, rear spoiler, and of course a camera which is very neatly tucked inside. The rear skid plate, like the front skid plate, makes it look very nice and sporty at the same time. So once you step inside the XUV 3XO, first thing that you realize is that there are some part sharing which are done from the XUV 700. Like for example, the instrument cluster is completely lifted off from that, and you have the steering wheel which is lifted off from the XUV 400. Even the infotainment system is lifted off from the 400. That said, you also get wireless audio and CarPlay. However, the CarPlay has to still come into existence. This is still in the beta stage, and this car is currently not being able to work on that particular feature. And then you have tons and tons of other options, the multimedia options, and what's kind of prominent is the touchscreen is pretty nice and easy to use. It's not lagging at all, but there are a couple of instances when the screen abruptly went off. I really wish in the proper production cars this is taken care of very nicely. You have a couple of AC vents. The AC performance is decent, not very strong or something, but what's important is you have dual zone AC in this car. If that person is feeling hot and if you want cold air, if you want hot air, then you're not going to be compromised there. You have 6-speed manual option, 6-speed AT and 6-speed AMT as well. The gear shifts are decent. We'll talk about it later in the course of the review. You have Type-C charger, USB charger, wireless charger, and there is also a 12-volt socket at rear. Couple of cup holders here, manual handbrake for the win. There's this center armrest which also has decent space inside it. The seats are good, nice, supportive, because they were not a big concern in the earlier XUV in Mahindra. Like, why fix something that is not broken, bro? And that said, you do not get ventilated seats in this particular car. In fact, even the seat adjustment is manual. You have to do it like this and adjust the seats of the car. You don't have to do it electronically because you don't get electric seats at all. But the biggest deal breaker here, in my opinion, is you get an auto-dimming IR beam, which is missing even in cars like the Scorpio N. But the biggest party trick in the XUV 3XO is this sunroof, the panoramic sunroof as Mahindra wants to call it. This is the biggest sunroof in its class. So let's close the sunroof right away. But the problem is there is no one-touch operation for the sunroof, which is kind of little sad because I really wish there was a one-touch operation. But you also have an option of kind of closing the blinds electronically, which is kind of very nice there. That's about it. Overall, the cabin looks nice, tasty, and it feels quite rich. However, one small concern is the seats are almost cream white in color, and you have to be very careful in maintaining them. Nahi to bahut ganda lagne wala hai if you don't maintain these seats properly. Moving to the rear of the car, first thing is you have the rear center armrest with a couple of cup holders there. But the biggest deal breaker here is that the 300 did not get rear AC vents, and I was like, how can a car today not get rear AC vents? But Mahindra has worked on it. You have rear AC vents now. There's a proper phone holder here, Type-C charger here, 2-volt charger there. All that is nice. You have magazine pockets here. Like I mentioned earlier, the overall feel is good, but I feel for some reason the space is going to be very tight for 3 people. So 2 people will not complain much, but that said, again for taller people the legroom might feel a little limited right here. You also have this 7-speaker Harman Kardon music system here. The music system is decent. It's not the great. Just because you have the Harman Kardon badging doesn't mean that it's going to sound great or something. It's just normal. It's nice. It's not the best or something. That said, you have all 3 seat belts here. and overall the place is nice. You have grab handles here. Let's check out the boot of the car, which is one of the most anticipated topic in this particular car. One small issue in this particular car is, it's very difficult to actually find out where exactly is the boot release button. It's quite small, you'll have to spend some time and figure it out. Like, yeah, I finally got it. It's too small, trust me on that. And you have this 295 liters of boot space here, but Mahindra also says that if you try to stack in everything like this, the boot space is 364 liters. However, that's not safe because you cannot see what is behind. What is the point of having a boot space like that? That's why you can actually fold this seat into 60-40 split. Like I mentioned earlier, you have 3 seat belts here. The boot is quite deep. Overall, decent place. Mahindra has actually redesigned it slightly, very slightly. The boot space remains exactly the same. Mahindra could have probably worked on this because the biggest downfall of the XUV 300 was the limited boot space, and the legacy, the saga continues in this variant as well. So this is the 1.5 liter diesel engine that produces around 117 bhp and 300 Nm of torque, and the first thing that you instantly realize is, this engine is just like the typical Mahindra's diesel engine. There is a decent amount of clutter, but that's it. It's refined in the mid and the top end. But however, it's not the engine that's going to give you a lot of driving pleasure or something. But again, this is a diesel, so efficiency is definitely guaranteed. There's a big thumbs up there. And talking about the gearbox, this is the 6-speed manual gearbox. The gear shifts are nice, decent. The throws are also quite adequate. In fact, the gear shifts are actually quite smooth for a manual transmission by Mahindra standards. The steering feedback, however, is a little disappointing here. It's not as good as, say, the Scorpio N or something. Both are electric power steerings, but I feel the Scorpio N steering is slightly more direct. This is a little vague, and the same problem was there in the earlier XUV 300 as well. The driving position is actually very good. Mahindra claims that the seating position that is there is as good as the XUV 700 itself. I'm not talking about the height, but the visibility from the driver's side, which is a massive thumbs up there. One small issue is the tractability of the engine. There are a couple of instances when the car is kind of getting off a couple of times more than necessary. I feel it's something to do with the gear ratios and the way the gears have been tuned with the engine here. The travel of the clutch is slightly longer, just like most of the Mahindra cars you've seen. This could make driving in city a little pain. And that's it. And that's why you have the proper 6-speed torque converter from the Scorpio N now in the XUV 300. That will do your city driving a lot easier. Talking about the ride and handling, the handling is decent, not the most sportiest of the sportiest car right there. So speaking of the ride quality, it's a big thumbs up there. We have been to roads where there are multiple patches, potholes and whatnot, but still the car actually managed to survive very well, in spite of very bad roads that this car took. It's not of a great discomfort, and that's a major improvement, because Mahindra cars, especially the earlier XUVs, they were not exactly known for their nice ride quality, but things are a lot better right here. To sum it up, yes, this of course is a great package from Mahindra, but again it has all the pros and cons that you want. Firstly, it's actually tech loaded, it is pretty decent in terms of space and practicality that car offers, and more importantly you have diverse engine and gearbox options. मतलब हर किसी के लिए एक है. If you want a car which is going to be good and fun on driving, you have the manual option. Otherwise there is of course an automatic, but that's it. There are a couple of flaws also. I feel honestly the car looks slightly smaller, and in India the perception of size matters a lot. People might find this car to be slightly smaller, and honestly the rear space also feels a little cumbersome. But all that aside, if there's one particular area where I have issues and complaints, that is the fact that it's not completely niggle free. And for example, the wireless CarPlay is still not working in this car. Mahindra should have made sure that जब गाड़ी launch हो रही है, everything should be working in this car. That's not the case. I mean, the screen just goes off a couple of times. So these are the smaller issues that are there. But that said, I think it's a good effort from Mahindra. Let's see what the sales numbers have to speak about this particular car. Until then, signing off from this beautiful place. See you in the next video.